We have a player up to a bit of cheese, so we don't want you to miss any of the action. And like I said, we're always responsible for that. So, spawning here in the bottom right corner of the map, he sent an SCV out early. It's going to be the blue Terran, Miso.
And top left as the red Terran, it's MMA.
Alright, so Miso, he throws down that Rax right away. And this one Rax is not so crazy, but Miso's... I think he did this versus QX. It wasn't it on this map too, where he went for the 2 Rax Reaper here, or am I thinking of a different map?
I think you're right about that one.
Well, anyways, the point is, it's not so far from what we've seen out of Miso. It has been fairly common for him to come into these TVT series with cheese at some point. I'm a little bit surprised it's on Game 3 in the Ace match, but I gotta tell you, after taking the damage from the Medivacs, I guarantee you he doesn't want to play against MMA at that point. He doesn't want MMA to get to that point.
Well, the thing is about that last game, actually, to be Marauders and Reapers, kind of cool. But that last game, this is why I don't think he was that far behind. That he was always contained, and he never seemed to really be able to afford his own starport units. You know, where MMA, I guess, decidedly just went like, yeah, I'll skip 4 tanks or 4 medevacs and get so much more out of that, and that's worth it. But Miso never got the chance to respond to it, not even with Vikings. I mean, again, so many other TVTs that we've seen. I don't know what's with these guys. They've been opening up the same as Heart of the Swarm TVT. There's been, you know, a definite issue about who has Viking control. These guys, just not so much. Maybe this game after this Marauder attack does something, or maybe nothing.
Well, I mean, great response at MMA is to immediately threw down the bunker. He saw with his SCV there's nothing at home, so while he doesn't know there's Marauders per se, he knows something is up, so he keeps the Reaper at home as well. And yeah, Marauders normally get some cool kills, but it's going to be really tough to get any damage done here.
The Reaper doesn't really have to stay at home.
Well, he didn't know it was Marauders till just now, right? Like, it could have been Reapers, like proxy Reapers.
Yeah, and no, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, he saw there was Marauder, so I'm surprised he didn't send him home.
He actually gets the SCV butt in the bunker too, so not only does he not kill MMA's SCV, he loses his own, has to cancel the bunker. But the nice thing about Proxy Marauder, and this much hasn't changed since Heart of the Swarm, it's not dedicated like a 2-Rax. You don't cut a ton of SCVs to make this happen. And okay, you lose a Tech Lab on the other side of the field, but as we see, the CC still coming down at home.
Well, 2 Marauders aren't going to be too useful. Maybe they'll help out versus some Hellion attack if they got a bunker to go into. But unless Miso's going to go into Bio, which they have not this entire series, well, they're going to kind of lose their value over time. They don't have a Cyclone opener, but rather Widowmine opener. Interesting. Change up.
For Miso, this might just be because he knows he can't deal with Cyclones if they come. You know, there is no bunker, and his own kiting capabilities aren't exactly here yet. I mean, two Widowmines actually don't believe one-shot a Cyclone. It's got too much health, so if both of them hit, maybe.
Well, up to a starport from Miso, as well as a second command center. Just, I think, slowly about on time with MMAs.
I was actually sending the Widowmines out aggressively. Now this I didn't really see coming, but gonna have to worry about the Cyclone.
It kills with 4 bros.
That is
cool.
Amazing.
Cool. Well, he saw the other Widowmine, so he's not going to go forward. I'm actually not sure what he's going to do. I don't think he can go around it. Oh, scan it. Oh, it's really worth a scan.
Well, it clears the way for the Cyclone, so maybe. You just
One
get
Cyclone.
You could actually kill the Marauders with it too. I mean, the Marauders have bonus damage versus armored, of course, but they can be kited around without stims so easily. Scan on the other side of the map, maybe. Was he checking the main? Okay, he looks for the main. Saw the factory. Sees his opponent going for Cyclones himself, and decides to back away.
Yep, Cyclones and Mech and Vikings. That was a pretty good scan. And it is important to note that Miso is going for Vikings. And I wonder if he's going to go ahead and try and gain that control. Of course, you give up a little bit on your ground units, as well as maybe not being able to afford those double upgrades that he seemed to be really depending on for the last 2 games. But in return, you get Viking control. You get the vision control, and you stop MMA from potentially doing his little medevac tricks.
Yeah, it's. I actually kind of wish we would see Miso almost match him. Like, I really want this situation where you've both got, say, like 2 Cyclones on the ground. You're picking up and dropping tanks like crazy on top of each other, right? Like, who can get the shots off before picking up on the medevac, before taking your own shot. I could just see TVTs getting to potentially crazy situations. But MMA is going to take that third much quicker here, and we'll see if it actually gets to that point or not.
Taking the one that goes toward your opponent means that well, Miso's not going to, but I was going to say, if both of them took those middle bases, the, like, distance, the rush distance between attacking each other would be quite small, but they do not. MMA might want to tear down the rocks to the left, give him a more direct path to Miso's third base once he realizes it's there. MMA, this time, the guy to go for double armory. Alright then.
That is a bit of a funny mix-up. Perhaps he's realized just how good upgrades have been against him at this point. Says I should maybe try some of those out myself.
I mean, maybe, but you will give up, I think, starport production for it. Right now he's banking a ton of gas, so maybe not.
It's actually, you know what, just thinking back on this, you mentioned he should tear down the rocks. Maybe it's Miso who ends up tearing down the rocks, right? Because he did do that on Orbital Shipyard.
Maybe. What says Hellion Drop? It is a Hellion Drop directed towards the main. There is nothing there. Production's about to pop out and rally forward. This actually might be perfectly timed. Oh, this is really nice. This is really nice for Miso.
Oh, MMA is not ready for this at all. He's gonna bleed out so many SCVs. Cyclone's turning around might be able to actually save this if he like blocks out, physically blocks out the Hellions, but he doesn't. And that worker kill count goes up to about 12.
Nice. Nice. So he takes a 12 supply. 12 worker count lead, but he does get his third denied, so it's not the efficient mining of MMA.
Wow, this is pretty gross.
Oh, this could turn on a third CC. Oh, so easily. Oh,
I think so. It's like, what, 540 damage each?
But this is like worth sacking the Cyclones on anyways. Like, they're not even gonna die.
Oh my god. Are you for real? One of them might die thanks to the way lock-on works, but seriously, getting that third CC is huge this early in the game. Not only for the fact that it denies minerals and mules and SCV production, but you need those gas geysers. You're playing mech, damn it.
Yeah, that's so bad. That is just...
I've never seen anyone do that yet, and now that's all I want to do. Like, the same way Arthur does the Void Rays to snipe off hatcheries, I just want to like Cyclone Darren sniping.
Miso already got his production, you know, banking on the fact that he would have a third base with his 5th and 6th gases, but he's going to have to attack and try and do something in return. I mean, I don't think he'll be able to get the command center, but maybe at least lifted. Oh, maybe he will. Having to pull the SCVs in here. The Cyclone defense of MMA just not working out as much as you would hope. But he's going to save the CC. That's important.
Cyclone's still going to trade out a little bit here on the right side as well. I mean, if that CC went down the same way...
SCV pull, please.
Repair hype? If that CC went down the same way, this would have been really dangerous. But you know what? MMA doesn't really have any tanks out. He's all relying on Cyclones. If he kills the last Cyclone of his opponent, I actually think MMA's in a pretty good spot to make sure he doesn't lose too much at home. But it is about killing that last Cyclone, because without that going down, the tank's going to continue to advance as we see running back further and further and further. He can't really pull his own SCVs into this. And Miso's turning this is very strange all in with the SCVs on the front lines like this. I guess losing that third CC was too much. It caused him to snap.
It might work though. I mean, you know, there was no tanks from MMA. He was going this very, he was trying new style, right, with just Cyclones, and they're fine if they can kite for a long time, but they were caught on the back foot at that third. Not a very long map at all. I
mean, truthfully, Miso finds a really cool way to turn this on him too. I mean, tanks are an essential part of the matchup, we'll call it that much. With the siege tanks, like they are too, he's also got medevacs to start carrying them around. MMA, I don't know that he can deal with this. He's lost most of the Cyclones. I thought he was going to be able to kite around those tanks, get that lock on and back away, but that's not happening. He's losing everything. GG! What? Miso will take the series and move on to the finals for the second time. For the second